This is about a bunny colony and where it's going to go. And more importantly, why. So, you were really adamant on doing bunnies in a colony style. Why is that?
Well, I think animals should have a great existence.
Right.
And, living in a tiny cage or like even with a wire bottom, which is common, doesn't seem like a great time
Right.
for me. When they live in a colony style, it's hit or miss with what people think of them because A, you have a bunch of bunnies together.
Right.
So if one gets sick, basically they all get sick. There's a question of how you clean that area.
Okay.
Because, it's ground. So,
Right.
like, how are you removing any, like,
Waste
and, all of that stuff? And there's also issues with colonies where, you know, the setup is different, so it could be more costly.
Okay.
With that. And then just, I don't know. Really, there's a lot of like other people's visions, but like everyone has a different opinion on how things should be.
Right.
Doesn't make them wrong. It doesn't make them right because there's not just one way
Right.
to do things. So
I guess we should have started with a definition a little bit, but essentially, colony style is rabbits not in cages. They're kind of like
they're living their best life.
they are technically they're in a fenced area, not. It's still technically a cage, but they're together. They're not individualized, and it's actually quite a big space.
Yeah, and they're able to dig and do those natural behavior. Bunnies are very social creatures.
Right.
In the wild, rabbits can be in groups of like 10 to 15. So, and they burrow and make dens and have their babies that way. It enables them to also stay cool with their dens because it's in the ground. So there's, just nature knows how to do things right.
Of course. Right.
And I think sometimes we lose sight of, of how nature does things so well.
Right.
With what's more convenient for us.
Absolutely.
Or, easier for us.
Especially when it comes to animal care.
Yeah.
It's our convenience as opposed to their well-being.
Exactly. So it is going to be more difficult. It's going to cost us a lot more money. There's a lot more to setting it up than you would think, because at the end of the day, we still have to make sure that they're safe.
Right.
And secure, even though it is a big spot. So it's instead of like a tiny cage, it's still a cage, but it's bigger where they can do their natural behaviors where they can't in a cage.
Well, you just opened up a whole big can of worms when you talked about like additional cost and whatnot. So is this right here, what we're standing in front of, the idea for our colony?
Yeah, so this is this messy area here that's been kind of blocked off for the sheep area. This area was previously excavated. It's quite fertile, and basically what we're going to be doing is this is one of the houses.
Okay.
With a tiny run.
Yep.
But the plan is that tiny run was also going to come to where I am now. But as things progress, we put a blueberry field here. So I can't put the bunnies here because they will then eat the
of course.
Plants. So
but we actually kind of had a perfect spot anyway.
It was a perfect spot. So in here, basically what is going to happen is that run's going to connect to the other run. And that's going to be kind of like my nursery run.
Okay.
So only moms with new babies or youngins, because it's able to keep them, do more checks because they're in a smaller space. They can't run away from me.
Right.
Is basically. But then this house is going to be basically almost redone because I never actually finished this one because at the time we stopped having a need. So I just kind of left it. So this one, basically where it ends, that building, it's going to come all the way up to this fence here.
Right. And kind of make a little...
As a pen.
Like a little actual, kind of like a dog run. Just extra long.
It's going to be long. It's going to be covered in some spots. It's going to be fully enclosed, so raccoons and bobcats and stuff can't go, because a lot of the time the dogs are not down here at night.
Right.
So we want to make sure that they're still safe at night being down here. So it will be fully enclosed. It's probably going to be tall. because I want to be able to get in it
Of
and
course.
stand up comfortably in that. And then if we move away from rabbits, it's perfect for a bird,
Yes.
right? So, because like everything we do, it has a multiple purpose, so it's not actually just tied to that one creature. If we stop using that creature, then it's completely useless or has to be redone. So that's kind of how we do it. So what the kind of hope is, we haven't fully worked it out yet. So because bunnies dig, and when there is a building or an object, um, it basically becomes the first spot they go to dig a tunnel.
Right.
So what we're actually going to be doing is removing a top layer of dirt here, wiring down,
Okay.
and then we're going to put the dirt back on. We're going to bring more dirt in, and that way, you know, they can do their tunnels and everything, but they can't actually escape.
Right.
But not only that, something can't burrow in
Yes.
to get them, because, you know, babies are at risk of predation from rats and
Everything.
then weasels and, you know, all of those things. So this way they will be quite protective. Now, for wire, like why this is going to be more expensive, you might wonder, is because of the type of wire that we're going to have to use in a lot of the areas. It's going to be hardware cloth.
Right.
And it is so expensive for like no reason at all.
Well, I mean, it's
Tiny.
tiny. It's
Tiny
like woven.
holes.
Yeah.
You know, because with the fencing that we use everywhere else, baby bunnies can actually fit through.
Yes, they
really
just walk right
easy.
through there.
And so that's going to be kind of not necessarily in the bottom, but it is going to be up top and whatnot to really keep those out. It'll keep rats out because they can't get through and stuff like that. So the cost for that is we're going to have to finish this building. We're going to have to build the run with, so our wood costs.
Yep.
All wired. So we'll have to buy that wire.
Fence extensions because you want it high.
Yeah, because I want it high. And then, you know, the usual, the staples and all this other stuff.
Mhm.
And then we're going to change their feed bins for winter into rubber. Their feed thing actually attached. So there's a little bit of a startup cost, but whenever they get to live this, it's going to be so neat, because not only are they close enough to power that, you know, those tiny dishes that are low, which would freeze almost instantly, they're close enough for a heated dish.
Mm-hmm.
Lighting, the electric fence will be on the outside as well. But
Just on the outside, yeah, to keep the predators from digging.
And it's just going to be so exciting to just pop into this little like aviary colony rabbitry thing and just sit down and be swarmed by baby bunnies. And so there's going to be probably...
Where are we going to get baby bunnies?
So we'll have a Flemish giant, and then we'll have the Angora. We'll probably have 2 of each, so one for males, one for females of both types, because we don't want to risk losing our Angora males by putting them in with a 22-pound male Flemish giant. So we're not going to play that game.
They're called giants for a reason.
Yeah, so basically that's what we're working on. The most important thing right now is going to be, we'll probably put another building there so that it can have another run there. And then we're probably going to need another one. You know, so 2 for each breed of rabbit. So
right.
2 for Flemish, 2 for Angora. So for a total of 4. So it's going to be quite expensive, but once it's built, that ongoing expense is not there really, other than your food and water.
Yeah.
They're going to be happier. They get to dig, so they're going to trim their own nails, and I don't have to do it. And they're just going to be happy. So sun, and they'll get to taste like rain and grass and just...
Yeah, because we'll have so much dirt that it'll be able to grow grass.
Yeah.
Assuming they don't dig it all to pieces.
Yeah, and it's just going to be a more natural, happy life for them, even though they've never experienced that in their life, and their ancestors have never experienced it in their life. Still going to be instinct. We're still going to let them be bunnies like their wild counterparts, just safe.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
It's always something I wanted to do.
Everything's always something you wanted to do.
It always is, and you know what? And then we do it.
Oh, that's true.
So I'm pretty excited. It's going to be a slower process because I'm still figuring out what I want to do now before spring and what can wait till spring. But as those updates come, we'll show you. because there might be a little bit more of an urgency in the fact that soon we're also going to have Flemish giant bunny. So we'll probably hold an Angora bunny here. We'll attach a new video where we'll hold the Angora baby bunny in our hand, and then when the baby Flemishes are born, we'll do the same. So you can actually see the size difference between a medium bunny and a giant bunny.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be awesome. Lots of exciting stuff going on this fall. Wow. And into the spring and winter. But anyway, that's it for now. I wanted everybody to see the project area because, I mean, it's already awesome. I mean, it has everything it needs. It just needs the fencing, really. Yeah, there's stuff to be done, but I mean, the buildings are, in all honesty, one of the harder parts, and they're already standing, and they're a good structure to work with.
And we have the wood on order. That'll be here this week. So we have wire on order, and that'll be here whenever it is here. So
it's a good time for it to get here. But anyway, thanks for joining, everybody. Bye.
Bye.